a lot of people on social media in particular were fired up at the helmet release. We talked to Kevin about that. I don't know whose hands we're seeing in the video, but you see the decals placed on the burgundy helmet and the gold with just the number featured above the ear hole. Do you like the look? And here's my question. We could throw this out to callers at 800-636-1067. Should they consider making this permanent? So even if they come up with a new team name like the Red Wolves or the Red Tails or the Warriors, should they consider leaving the number on the helmet permanent?
Can you throw up the picture of the helmet on the Hangouts?
Sure.
Cakes likey the look, and I don't have a problem with making it permanent once the new team name is revealed. I think it's a cool look. I mean, it's something that's unique, and, it's the only team in the league that has that look. I like it. I think it's sharp.
If you haven't seen it, you can follow us on Twitter at Junks Radio, or follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/thejunks. It's just like I said, burgundy with the gold number. It's very simple. I guess it's reminiscent of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like it. I think that they should consider it to be permanently on the helmet because it stands out. You would be the only team doing that.
Well, like we said about the team name, about the new name, even if they change the colors, everyone look. You're just going to get used to it. You might not support it now, but you're going to get used to it. So I would say, so just based on what I'm seeing now, yeah, it looks fine. But I could see why some fans are like, no, I want the actual Redskins logo back. But I could see why some fans would be for it. It's pretty sharp looking.
This is what I pretty much called my shot on when I on Twitter said they should call it the Washington Football Club to keep everything just as much alive as they could.
Right.
With the colors and the uniforms. I mean, besides the logo on the helmet, the uniforms are going to look identical. The helmet looks sharp. The gear will look the same the fans are wearing. I think they're on the right track here, and I think that this might actually stick around for a while. Florio said he said that if they make the playoffs, they may not change it for a few years, if at all.
What, change
If
the
they
name?
make the playoffs.
If they change the name.
Yeah.
Okay, but
you may be
that's a
right.
big if they make the playoffs.
It's not that big.
Yeah, it's a revolving door.
They won 3 games last year.
It's a pretty big F. That's a big leap for them to make the
They
playoffs.
won 3 games last year. They've got a second-year quarterback that doesn't have much experience without a lot of weapons.
How many games did the 49ers win the year before?
Their quarterback was hurt.
I'm just saying.
I mean, come on.
It happens.
That's
Are
not
you
fair.
telling me every year in the NFL there isn't a team that goes from the dregs to the playoffs?
Yeah, but do you expect that to be the Skins / the football team? I don't.
I don't expect it, but I think it could happen. I mean, the Giants are trash. Carson Wentz is always hurt.
They'll make the playoffs if the NFL expands their playoff teams to every team getting in the playoffs.
Well, I think this, in regards to the helmet, I think it could stick around. I'd love to hear from Redskins fans. 800-636-1067. You're now the Washington football team. You're not going to have the same old logo. They're just going with the number, the gold number on the burgundy helmet. Do you like it? And do you think it should be permanent and stick around for years to come, even if they become the Warriors or the Red Wolves or the Red Tails?
Again,
Keith from Reston's going to call in, and he's going to be bitter.
I'm fine with the helmet staying.
Or Dennis, whatever his name is.
I just don't see them being the Washington football team past a year or two. I would be shocked if they stuck with that name.
I think it's unlikely. A couple other stories here as we hit the Skins. 800-636-1067 is the number. Bill Barnwell from ESPN put this out, and I want you guys to guess. He was going through teams and how many potential Hall of Famers they have. And Barnwell has 3 potential Hall of Famers playing for the Washington football team.
Hold on.
One is a 100% lock.
I know one.
Okay,
lock.
who's that?
Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson is 100%
He's a lock.
All right.
And then he has one in a work-to-do category, and then one which is absolute potential.
All right. I would say the potential is Chase Young.
Chase Young. Exactly.
And there's somebody who has work to do but could potentially get there. That's the intriguing one. Is it an offensive or defensive player?
It's defensive player. I don't think he particularly had a great season last year, but he has been to a Pro Bowl 3 times.
Kerrigan?
Not Ryan
Landon
Kerrigan.
Collins?
Landon Collins.
No.
No, he's not going to
What?
the Hoff. Kidding me?
Again, if the Hoff is expanded to every player that's ever played
Yeah.
NFL football. I mean, Landon Collins is a good player. I don't think anybody would say he's a great player or certainly a Hall of Fame type of player.
No, he's not.
No, that to me is preposterous.
Peterson, Locke, and I'll give Chase Young a shot only because he was so good in college. I'm not going to give anybody else a shot, really. It's not going to be any of
Chase
the
Young also, just by being drafted with the number 2 pick,
Yeah.
Barnwell looked at the last 40 defensive players to be selected with that pick. 5 of them have made it to the Hall of Fame. So that's a 12.5% chance on being part of football immortality.
Did they do every single team, or do you just do the skins?
You know what? I just read the skins portion.
Oh, okay. I wonder how many. And
Google it.
yeah. I wonder how many Locke Hall of Famers there are currently playing right now.
Man, there's probably, if you think about it, probably 15 to 20.
Yeah, I was going to say 20
you
to
get a bunch
25.
of quarterbacks. Now, Locke, because you don't know if, sometimes it's hard to go with the young guys because they have to have longevity. But, I mean, wouldn't you say Patrick Mahomes is going to be a Hall of Famer?
He's on that trajectory, yes.
Yeah.
Now,
but
if
he's
he
not a
ends up-
lock yet.
Right, he's not a lock yet because he's so young, and there are other guys,
But obviously Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
Brady, Rodgers, Breeze, Roethlisberger. Who am I missing?
Running backs like Frank Gore.
Gore is a
Been around
lock.
forever.
Yes.
Peterson, who we mentioned.
I mean, I don't think
And then when you
Phillip
go-
Rivers. I don't think
why-
Phillip Rivers is a lock, but he's close.
What about wide receivers like
Julio,
Julio
Locke.
Jones,
He's a Hall of
DeAndre
Famer.
Hopkins?
DeAndre's probably getting close to that sort of territory if his career keeps doing what it's been doing.
I mean, Aaron Donald on defense.
Donald's a lock.
Some of the better players right now are really young, so they've got to produce.
What
for a
about
while.
McCaffrey? Still has a ways to go, but
yeah, way too early on.
yeah. There's a
McCaffrey.
Larry Fitzgerald. Did you mention him?
Oh,
Did
he's a
not.
lock.
He's a lock.
He's more to lock. He's probably a first ballot.
So maybe there's 15 to 20. Yeah, that's probably a good number.
Also wanted to talk about what Ron Rivera has been saying about his quarterbacks. We talked yesterday where Rivera said on Tuesday he's pleasantly surprised about how quarterback Alex Smith has looked. He also has been praising Dwayne Haskins a lot. He told Ben Standig he's done a great job of studying, preparing, getting himself ready for this. He's been great. He's been on the field doing the things we've asked him. He's done the extra stuff that they talked about in the off season. So he's very high on Dwayne Haskins, and sounds like he's talking about his QB1 for sure.
Yeah, I would say that. But and we talked about this yesterday. It's going to be so weird, especially when you are trying to handicap the younger quarterbacks. The Haskins, the Joe Burrows of the world, Tua. You're not going to see them play until the regular season.
Right.
That's going to be really strange.
And for somebody like Tua, he's not going to start in week 1.
Probably
Burrow
not.
will start in week
Burrow
1.
looks like he will start week 1.
But Tua, he's going to have to wait until Ryan Fitzpatrick, has a 4-interception game, or
Which could be game 1.
But
or
usually,
potentially if Josh Rosen somehow. Josh Rosen said he thinks he's competing for the starting job. So
well, he's always been a cocky kid.
Yeah.
He's confident, but he's wrong. But he's confident. But usually in a normal year, a normal non-COVID year, we have already kind of had some, other than college, when you see these guys in college and they dominate, but we have an expectation of what the young quarterbacks are going to do, whether they're going to struggle, whether they're going to be really good. We have no idea with a little bit with Haskins based on what we saw last year. We have no idea with these other guys.
Let's go to the phones. 800-636-1067. It is Open Line Thursday. Your chance to steer the show. You can chime in on the unveiling of the Washington football team helmet or anything else. Go to line 2. Howard is in Waldorf. Howard, you're on with the Junkies. What's up?
Hello?
What's up, Howard?
What's up, Howard? And the Dorf.
I got a name for the Washington Redskins,
Here it comes.
Oh.
and the name is the Washingtonians.
So you would call them the Washingtonians?
Or just
No,
Washingtonians.
the Washingtonians, not the Washingtonians, Washingtonians.
So they just have one name.
Yeah, one name, Washingtonians.
That's too hard to say. You can't even say it.
And it sounds terrible,
about
even
the
if you say it
Red
correctly.
What about the Red Tails?
It's
Who
an
wants to be
option.
behind somebody, the Red Tails.
It's an option, though. It's an option.
Well, Washingtonians, they play for Washington. It sounds original.
You're saying Washingtonians. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, it's not going to be the Washingtonians.
Or the Washingtonians.
Yeah, it's not
or
gonna
the
be that.
Washington Washingtonians. It's not going to be any of those combinations.